I'm Blab.
Oh, my hair's
Welcome, everyone, to... We're already having a good time. Welcome. By the way, underneath my screen here, does it read normal to you, or is it backwards?
It reads normal.
It reads normal? Okay, it reads backwards to me.
No.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Face-to-Face video podcast. My name is Carmen Capriato, and the reason we do these is we want to connect with our podcast audience, engage the tribe, get them involved in a two-way conversation, and bring the dialogue to life. I've actually interviewed Amy and Bogey and Judy before, and they were great interviews. I'll tell you all about their episodes, but now we have a chance to really dig deep into a topic, and that's the reason that they're on. So we really appreciate you being here. Let me introduce my guests. And Amy, you were off before, but you're going to have to raise your hand because when we see the replay, you're going to be in a different position. And then there's a joke in there somewhere. Amy Matnat. Amy is the owner of Auto Craftsman in Montpelier, Vermont. Amy had the good fortune to combine her love of cars with a career in the automotive industry. Whether going on ride and drives, teaching car care clinics, or running her independent repair shop, she's able to combine her two passions, educating the public, especially women, about car care so they can make informed decisions, and educating young women about the many career opportunities available in the auto care industry. Amy was awarded the National Car Care Council Women's Board Top Female Shop Owner of the Year in 2012, and then they turned around 2 years later and elected Amy president of the Women's Board in 2014 for a 3-year term. Listen to Amy on podcast episode 13 and 22. 13 was her entrepreneur's interview, and 22 was the president of the Women's Board. Now meet Bogey Latiner.
Oh, hi, that's me.
Bogey from 180 Degree Automotive in Phoenix, Arizona. And she's in episode 27, a great episode. She graduated Phi Beta Kappa from Oberlin College in just 3 years. Smart girl. With a double major in women's study and pre-law. As the pieces of her career came together, she began to see that her passion was not simply to fix cars, but to empower others to fix cars, women especially. Bogey also does business coaching, holds car care classes for women, speaks on a wide range of subjects. I heard her speak. Great job. And is on the 4th season as one of the 3-girl crew on the Velocity Channel show, All Girls Garage. I'm right. It's the 4th season, right, Bogey?
We're starting 5th season in January.
Oh, great. So you haven't even done any taping yet?
Nope, just starting out.
Okay, great. Hey, it's so great to have you. Now, besides, look in the bottom corner here, my bottom right, but I'm not sure where you're going to end up in the final episode. Besides growing up in the family business, Judy Zimmerman Walter is co-owners with her uncle and the CFO of a 57-year young business. It's a true blue family enterprise with 12 out of a team of 29 members that are in the family. At Zimmerman's Automotive, Mechanicsburg, PA, and that's where they are in Mechanicsburg. Zimmerman's is a top automotive repair facility with a quick lube and a used car division. Among her industry involvements is the Women's Board of the Car Care Council, AASPPA, the Alliance of Automotive Service Providers in Pennsylvania, and the Auto Care Association. And Judy's in episode 15. Whew. Great to have you, woman, friends.
What do you call them?
We've been
Those
called
other people.
So cool. I'm going to goof up big time today. I know it because all three will not have a problem correcting me. I will tell you that. I trust them. So let me set us up with a few assumptions. Number one, 60 to 70% of decision makers are now women, and okay, you got that? Okay. 2, women spend $200 billion annually on car and auto service, and 80% of U.S. car purchases are influenced by women. And as is universal to all customer service businesses, please never assume how a female customer wants to be treated. Okay, so those are my setups for this discussion, and I hope to sit back and let you girls have this lively discussion. So here's my first thought starter. Can you give me your 3 top customer service guidelines that make your customer-driven culture so strong, be it your customer is a female or a male?
If I may,
yes,
I'll jump in.
Yes.
I think the key is that final word or final sentence that you just said, is that be it your customer is female or male. I think the thing to keep in mind is that providing excellent customer service for women is really providing excellent customer service for everybody. And it comes down to treating people like they're human beings with respect, with compassion, with empathy, treating them as individuals, meeting them on their level, and providing service that's about them, so that when they're the one standing in front of you, they're your most important customer. They're the most important person in the world. And when you do that for men or women, you'll meet the needs and expectations of your female customers, and you'll also meet the needs and expectations and probably exceed the expectations of your male customers.
So what are your 3 top guidelines? I mean, that's perfect. Do you sit down with your team and say, hey, this is what we got to do?
I'm going to jump in on this.
Okay.
So Bogey's talking about creating a relationship with her customers.
Right.
And the thing that shop owners need to understand is having a relationship with a man customer and a woman customer can be different. And that's the piece they need to understand.
So any guidelines that you provide your team when it comes to that Venus and Mars thing?
You want to take that, Bogey, or you want me to grab it?
Well, I think you and I have a slight difference of opinion on this, because I think there are some stereotypes, and stereotypes are true for a reason. So yes, we can make some generalizations about how to interact and create relationship with female customers, and generalizations about how to interact with and create relationship with male customers. But really, I don't know about you, Amy, Judy, I have customers that are on total polar opposites of that gender stereotype. Mm-hmm. So I have women who want to be related to in the way that men traditionally are related to, and vice versa. So really, for me, it's about, the old adage, treat people how you want to be treated. I don't agree with that. You want to treat people how they want to be treated.
Yes.
And so meeting them on their level, figuring out what their needs are. Do they want lots of detail? Do they want their hand held? Do they want you to just fix the car, take the key, tell them how much it is? Right? How much relationship do they want? And being able to switch from person to person, regardless of whether they're male or female, and not assuming what they want because of their gender.
Well, Bogey's trying to drive our theme over to, hey, it's customer service, period.
Right.
And I have no problem with that. But I think it's a great thought starter for us to realize that there may be just one better thing you can do in your corporate culture that makes sure that, and I think as you say, Amy, that there's another level when it comes to respecting and understanding a woman. And it goes down to, don't talk down to me, don't make an assumption, and their the knowledge level. Don't dumb it down because you think it's like talking to a person that you think is deaf. Hello, yes, did you hear me?
Right. I always ask them, do you know anything about cars? Do you know anything about brakes? And then I know how to start to begin the conversation.
Mm-hmm. And check in with them often, male or female.
Yes.
Is this making sense?
Right, exactly.
Is what I'm saying making sense to you? Do you understand? Do you want me to put it in a different language or, right?
One of the things I find first, before you do anything other than that, is I tell my guys, because typically I started in this industry in 1975. And when you walked in the doors, the language was foul, the pictures on the wall were foul, and it just went from there.
Sure.
One of the things I learned from a Goodyear trainer years ago is, number one is clean up your language. Number two is think about your appearance. Do you look professional? You want them to think of you as a professional. You want them to think of you that you know what you're doing. You know cars. You know what you're doing. you have to look like you do. If you look like a slob, you're going to get treated that way. And so that's kind of, those are the first two. And then the third one is don't talk down to people. Talk at them on their level. I think you both touched on that. You need to know what where they're coming from. Sometimes I don't know, but I always bluntly ask them that, like Amy said, but you can soon learn it really quickly. And the other thing is, this is a pet peeve of mine, is don't use industry acronyms unless you're sure they know what they are.
Yes, thank you.
Like OEM parts. What the heck are OEM parts? Well, and then we go on to explain. I'm really sorry, that was dumb.
So
I'm glad you brought that right back to the basics, Judy, because I think Bogey and I are so used to our shops being so clean and comfortable and have all those little extra things that women and men want that, you know, I didn't even think of that, but you hit it. I mean, if we're going back to the basics, your waiting room needs to be not only clean and neat, but extra clean, extra neat. Make it beautiful. Put art in it, plants, place for the kids to play. Make it extra special.
Yeah. I think the bar for female customers is a little bit higher or different, because not so much because men and women are different, but because women traditionally have been so disenfranchised by this industry and have so little trust for the automotive industry that they come in so much more apprehensive and already with their guard up and already feeling like they're going to be taken advantage of and spoken down to and treated poorly, that we really need to go above and beyond and go that extra mile to make women feel comfortable and at ease as an industry because of our history, because of our reputation with women. So I think Amy and Judy, you're both absolutely right. And I think, Carmen, it's interesting. It's almost easier to come up with the list of things not to do than it is the things to do, right? Like, don't ask if you can speak to their husband. Don't stare at their boobs. Don't, like there's a lot of, it's easy to think of the don'ts.
So let's do me a favor, all three, is give me a list, or at least start chiming in about what would really make it special inside the weight room or the restroom. Off the charts. Good stuff. Amy mentions art before. Bogey, I know you display art. You probably connected somehow in a world of Zen and figured it out. And if you hear, golly, if you hear Bogey's episode and you've got to hear it, you replace your art and change your art and you sell the art. And I've seen the front of your place. It looks like a nightclub, dim cocktail bar almost.
You know, I think if anything that you can do to make your shop not feel like auto repair, we want to create extra relationship with our customers. So we want to talk to them about things that aren't just about their car. We want to get to know them and get into relationship. And so along those same lines, we want to create an atmosphere in our shop that is about the customer, not necessarily just about auto repair. So if it feels good when they walk in, if there's art on the wall, if there's toys for the kids to play with, if there's comfy chairs, and even if you don't want to go to that extreme, like Amy or I have, Judy, I haven't been to your shop, but I know I've been to Amy's shop, and I know we kind of take it to an extreme, but just not being dirty, not having pinup girls on the wall, not having piles of clutter or piles of used parts, making it feel like it's not an auto repair shop. Anything that you can do is going to increase and build on that relationship. So it's the details. Like you asked about how do you make a bathroom go that extra mile? Like have tampons in the bathroom. Have air freshener, have lotion, have just those little touches that make somebody walk in and go, wow, I feel cared for. I feel
Think of it like your summer camp. When you invite people into your home, you clean everything up. You get rid of all the nasty books. You have magazines that they would like to read. Yeah. We have a lot of coffee table books, that are really interesting.
And aren't about cars.
Right. Think about what your customers want to be able to sit in your waiting room and be comfortable. And what music are you playing in the background? What's all around?
I just recently went to an industry thing in a group of a whole bunch of different shops. And one of the guys that said is he does not allow the news to be played in his waiting area because people have enough stress in their life. They don't need to sit here and watch the news. Thought that was an interesting concept, but we've started doing that here.
Yeah.
Nice. I like Pandora.
Yeah.
We hook it up and then we ask the customer, what do you want to listen to? And then we pick what kind of music they want to listen to while they're waiting for their oil change.
Let me ask you all a question about the trend that's going on with the TV that's playing ads of your own shop and products.
Not my office.
Okay.
So annoying.
That's annoying. And you would never subscribe to one of those services.
No, because it's all about the shop. You want to switch it. It's all about the customer.
Yeah, I don't have car magazines in my lobby. My customers don't like cars. That's why they're coming to me, right? So I have things that they like to read. We don't have car parts. We don't have car advertisements. We don't have car TV. We don't have anything in the lobby that says I'm an auto repair shop, because when our customers come in, we don't want to remind them that they're in an auto repair shop. They're already uncomfortable about going to an auto repair shop. They're not excited. Nobody wakes up and says, I'm so excited to go get my car worked on. So we want to change the script on them and make it exciting for them and make it comfortable by making it not about auto repair.
What about those displays, the belts that go around the pulleys and the shock stuff? Do you keep any of that out there?
I love
the waiting room,
but not in the waiting room. I have a separate area for it.
Me too.
And we'll bring customers back and show them, or we'll bring them out into the shop, but not in the lobby area. No.
Okay.
I have some video available if someone really wants to see it rather than just have a little explanation. I have some video available to show them. I also have some videos I can email them as well.
It seems in some previous discussions that if you have a tablet, you can accomplish the same thing the TV is doing, sitting next to the customer as you're discussing the repair that needs to be done, if there's a video that lends itself to understanding.
Totally.
And you should ask them, do you want to see a video? Because you don't want to assume that they want to.
Okay, so toys for kids, comfy chairs. How about a Keurig?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. With apple cider and hot chocolate, decaf, all the options. And snacks. They need snacks. You don't want them to be hungry if they're waiting. You want them to be comfy, no rushing.
Kids love the snacks. And we have little kids who come in and they're so excited to go to 180 because they're going to have snacks, and they beeline right to the snacks while mom or dad goes up and checks in the vehicle. And happy kids mean happy parents.
I want to say hello to Greg Buckley. I want to say hello to Marianne Croce and any of our other guests that are hanging out with us tonight.
Hi, Marianne. Hi, Greg.
Hi, everyone.
Great to have you all. This is great. Where was I? So the bar's higher for women. So there's this perception that women receive worse service than men when it comes to auto repair. And is this a real live perception?
I don't know.
We're in a bubble, so I think it's hard for us to comment on that now. I'm assuming things have changed since I got into the industry, but I became a mechanic because of the way I felt I was getting treated at auto repair shops, and I didn't like the way I felt. But I think it's a combination of things. I think both men and women these days don't know much about cars, and anytime you have to get a service that you don't understand, we immediately as human beings feel vulnerable and intimidated because we don't know and we don't understand. And there's the assumption that we're going to get taken advantage of. So even if we're not being taken advantage of, we go in with that assumption that we are. Does that make sense? So I don't know that women are actually getting worse service than men are these days. I think it comes down to communication problems. Amy, you and I have talked about this a lot.
I don't think they're getting worse service in my shop. I can't speak for everyone's. one of the main things is like they don't get assaulted by something they wouldn't want to see, which I talked about earlier. And I just feel like that we've really come a long way from 75 when I started with the industry, when very few women. I saw very few women all day. I worked with 6 men, saw very few women, and that's about where it was at. But now it's just so different. And we also have a lot of people. I mean, I have a lot of women employees as well. Yeah. So it's not as bad.
Yeah, I think that if it's possible for a shop owner to have a woman on the front desk, it's more comforting. Women like to chat. A lot of customers, they want to tell you about their day and their trip. And sometimes a male service writer doesn't have the patience to ask about that. So one of the things a lot of shops that we know, Bogey and I both have done this, is we have a customer service rep at the front desk. Mm-hmm. And the service writer is off to the side. So he can spend his time putting together the estimates, getting the parts, selling the jobs, dispatching the jobs. And the customer service rep is out front creating that relationship with the customer and making sure that they're getting superior customer service.
You know, this begs me to ask, here's what went through my mind. The words finishing school. You kind of go around. Yeah. It's like, you need to learn how to. So I'm going to send you to customer service finishing school with that special thing called, here's how you talk to a woman.
Oh, my goodness.
And so I guess maybe the problems that exist in shops today, and I'm making an assumption here, is that the service writers, or as you said, Amy, you've got something special going and you have that right focus. My God, you're woman owners. I can't imagine that there's not a problem. But this podcast is being recorded for future, where people are struggling with that issue. Says, hey, you got to go out and listen to what these female shop owners are saying and how they've overcome it, how they overcame that gap. Yet they want to treat their female customers just like they want to be treated. And so I say this: is there schools out there that you would know of that teach female-friendly customer service in automotive?
I don't know about schools, but there are lots of classes and programs and teachers. And
I guess that's what I mean.
teach some classes. There are a number of other management trainers that are teaching customer service and working with women and just providing good customer service in general. I think, going back to that question of are women receiving worse service than men, I think the average shop owner, the average service advisor, the average technician really does care about their customer, really does want to do the best for them, just doesn't always know how to communicate effectively to their customers in a way that the customer can understand. And one of the things that I spend a lot of time trying to emphasize with my team and when I'm teaching is, we talked about not using industry lingo or OEM or GDI or whatever these phrases are that people may not know, but also slow down. Take the time, not just in how quickly we're talking, but how much time we are spending with a customer, to sit down, take the time to really hear them, to really listen to them, engage and explain. I think if you do that, that's probably the number one thing that we could all do a little bit better as an industry for our customers. Slow down.
And Bogey gave a key there. Listen. And I saw it's an old adage it said, but listen to understand. If we would all learn to listen to understand and not listen to answer or ask another question, that would be so helpful. Because I had a lady customer that was just really angry at her car. And I kept interrupting her to ask, she'd say something and I'd interrupt her a little bit and ask her a question. She'd go, just listen to me and let me be finished. Then ask me the questions. I'm there. Okay, hit me in the head. You're right.
I have two
just
great
listen
listening
and let her say that.
Two great listening quotes. That one, listen to learn, not to answer. And this other one that is fabulous, listen to learn, talk to teach.
Oh, that's good.
Isn't that cool?
So there is a trainer who is an expert on helping you learn how to treat your female customers. And that's Jody DeVere at AskPatty.com. And her whole premise is teaching shops, dealers, parts stores, how to become female friendly. So there is that training program, and it's fabulous training.
Wonderful.
I actually had my service writer take it because, it's kind of like the parent-child thing where the parent tells a child something and the child's like, yeah. So I would tell Mark certain things. And then when I had him take the training, he came back and told me the same thing I'd been telling him, and I was like, great. So it was good for him to hear it from someone else.
And that reminds me of, as kids grow up, right? They say the older you get, the smarter your parents get. So yes, send someone out for the same training you could have given in-house. You all three do women's car care clinics. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
What would you like to know?
Well, come on, Bogey. I'm dropping a hanging Chad here, and you're supposed to fill in the blanks.
The women car care clinics are a great way to introduce women to your shop. You bring them in. It's a safe environment. You make it fun. They get to learn a little bit about their car. They get to ask questions. You can let them actually, change a tire, check their own oil. And you're, again, creating that relationship. Mm-hmm. And then you send them home with, gifts and a bounce back coupon. And it does a couple things for your shop. It makes you the friendly, helpful expert. And it also makes it so that you're going to become their go-to person. They have a question. They know that you're going to answer it. You're going to take the time, educate them, and not talk down to them.
Anyone else want to tackle how you feel about what you do?
We have we have a very large adult retirement community in our area. Many times end up with widows. The husband kind of ran the car care all their lives, typical, especially in someone that you're talking probably 60s to 70s, and the woman is terrified. And we've started a service where we will actually, if they would like to stop by with their car, we'll show them a couple things, what's important, show them a spot of oil perhaps on the ground, why it's important to know, for us to know if it's the size of a quarter or the size of a dinner plate. Also to show them how oil will go from the size of a quarter to 4 inches and not be any more than the water that's much less. And just little intricate things about their car, as crazy as how do you make the cruise control turn on? And I mean, that sounds funny to us, but it's really true. Mm-hmm. And it's become a really great service. And those women tell their granddaughters, oh, you've got to take your car here because they're so good to us. And eventually grandma she gets to the point where she's not driving anymore. And then we have another service that we will buy cars from elderly people. So it really works well to have the relationship, and it's all about the relationship. Showing that we're people too, we can be trusted. Sure, we're here to make money, we're a business, but we are also here to provide outstanding customer service.
Yeah.
Bogey, how about you?
I find I second everything that Amy and Judy said. I want to add to that. I think it opens a different level and type of communication with the customers who have been to the class. They come in with different questions. They come in with a different, just a different respect for who we are and what we're doing. And so it changes the relationship between our shop and that customer. And it helps, we kind of always want to make it about, it's me and you against your car, not you against us, right? We're in this together, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, against your car. And when they've taken a class, it helps kind of cement that relationship and build that team and change the way that they think about their car, the way they think about what we do, and just the whole process. It's a fantastic thing. And I think particularly for women, it helps them change the way they think about themselves. And, when you learn how to change a tire and it's something you've been terrified of and you realize that it's not that scary, an amazing thing happens where people start saying, wow, if that thing that I thought was so scary isn't so scary, what else might not be so scary? And that's the thing that I love the most about it, just on a personal level. How it changes people's lives, I think.
Those are great. And there's so many entrepreneurs doing women's clinics, and many of the ones that I've interviewed usually talk about that or do it, from male or female shop owners. And Judy, I love one of the things you said. My brain doesn't stop; it goes. And you were saying I showed someone how to do the cruise control, and I realized I wish someone would have taught me how to work that piece of software that I just got. Can I walk into a computer store and say, "Show this to me"? And the reality is, Judy, it's an unbelievable service. You almost need to put a placard out. If there's anything about your car you don't know about, listen. 4:00 Thursdays, stop by. We're going to do something. We're going to run it, and we're going to show you. Or in your women's classes, you pick those top 4 or 5 things, and at the end of the class, she says, "Hey, people come in and ask us about this. We'll spend a few extra minutes doing that." Great takeaway. I love it. Thank you. Now, there's a question that came in. You could probably all see it up on your screens from your car guy. What can we do to attract more females to our industry for all roles? Techs, service writers, parts counter people?
I think that's a fantastic question. As an industry, we're having a hard time attracting anybody to our industry right now. We're having a serious lack of technicians, of service advisors, of skilled people in the industry. We've been warned that it was going to come. It's here. Every shop owner I know is struggling with finding people, male or female. So it's a serious question. How do we attract people to our industry, and specifically, how do we attract women to the industry? And I think it really is the same thing as how do we attract female customers. It's cleaning up our act. It's getting rid of the clutter. It's dressing professionally. It's getting rid of the girly magazines. It's making our industry more attractive, more approachable, more professional, more esteemed, so that moms and dads are going, yeah, I want my kid to grow up to be a mechanic or work in the automotive industry, because that's a reputable thing to be a part of. So it's an overall, we need to elevate our industry's reputation across the board, I believe.
I think you also, if you really want to bring a woman into your shop, is be willing to train her. Find someone that has a interest in cars and let them know that you can do an apprenticeship. I have my little front girl, desk girl. She went to school to be a technician for like 1 semester, had to quit school. So I knew she had a love of cars. And now she's my customer service rep, and we're training her to be a service writer. And she's awesome.
Yeah. You got to be willing to train. Absolutely.
That's across the board with male or female these days. You just got to find someone has a good work ethic and likes cars, and then see if they've got the gift.
Yeah.
Judy?
We do it. We do a middle school career day. We actually bring the kids to the shop, show them. We had a video we did, but it's just kind of outdated. But I have I have 4 people from Delphi that are working on trying to get me something good for kids today. I want them to see everything that's really involved, not just getting greasy and dirty. And we even had, I think not this past year, but the year before, we even had a couple of girls come through, and it's exciting. My daughter Jackie usually does the teaching on those classes, and it's really nice because she's still in her 20s, so it's not just some old guy or old lady teaching it. It's someone their age.
Good stuff. Years ago, when Auto Care, I think, was called ASIA, they created one heck of a video that way back in the day when I was in corporate America, we showed to new employees that came on board and let them realize, and it covered every single job in the industry. And it really did it up right. It showed computers, distribution, customer service. We're sitting here saying we need something to take out. Greg Buckley says, yeah, we've got to grow our own. We've got to get with the parents. But we also need some collateral material, like a great video that we can show on a tablet, on a video projector, at a seminar, at a Kiwanis, at a middle school, to a guidance counselor. In so many episodes of late, say the last 30 episodes, we're at 67 episodes as of this recording. There's 80% of them talk about the need. We've even done, technician training. Tony Mala was on recently, and we haven't released all of his episodes, but just one. And we're going to do one on the 21st Century Shop. It's already in the can. It's a great episode. And him, Donnie Cipher, and so many other great shop owners talk about the STEM program, science, technology, engineering, and math that's going on in school. And they say that's exactly where we need to recruit from. We need to tell the parents, like Greg Buckley says, hey, your kid's in STEM. I'm going to have a job for him someday. He's going to be not a mechanic, but a technician working on these highly sophisticated computer-controlled cars that just keep getting more and more and more sophisticated every day. And I think your point is so perfect. If what goes on inside the shop goes up to the next level in the world, the culture's right, the place to work at is strong, there's going to be a time, I believe, that all this stuff is going to swing 180 degrees. Bogey, it's cool, name of her company, and it's going to be different. But it's going to take each and every one of us working every day, doing 100 points of light, if you will, and so challenge my thinking here.
I've seen that video. I actually have about, a pile of copies, and I take them into the high schools and the tech schools, and I show the kids, and then we talk about the different jobs they could have. Because what I'm hearing from the shop teachers is that the caliper kids coming up through their classes are not so great. And they're not smart enough to be working on cars. They're not focused. They don't have, a working knowledge of a car. And I've had a lot of kids come into my shop who have gone through these schools. And you're like, really? Do you know anything? So I don't know. I think we're missing out on the kids that are going into the tech classes and the science classes. And again, it's trying to let them see that it's not a grease monkey type job. And again, then there's that piece of our technicians need to get paid for their worth so that it attracts these kids that can be working on these cars, which are computers on wheels, because cars are so different than when we were younger.
Right. There's no one simple answer. It's all of those parts and pieces, because our industry has a negative reputation of being dirty and uneducated and grease monkeys and not what we really are, right? But we have this negative reputation. Right. So the guidance counselors and the parents are ushering Like I felt it when I went to school. Why did I want to take auto shop? Not only was I a girl, but I was smart, is what they told me. They said, you don't need to take auto shop, you're smart. Well, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. You need to be smart to be a technician, right? Mm-hmm. But our guidance counselors don't understand that, because our society doesn't understand that about our industry. And so, of course, we're not attracting women. We're not attracting anybody. But then I think, even the shops that are doing have all the parts and pieces, they're being professional. They're doing they're trying. I've had a number of shops say, I'm trying to attract women into my shop as employees, and I can't seem to get any. And I think it's those details that we were talking about with customers, those little details that make the difference to make them feel cared for. If you can have a woman come into your shop and tell you what they see that you might not be seeing, there might be those little clues as to why you're not attracting women. I had an excellent shop ask me why they couldn't get a woman to come and work for them. They'd had a number interview for a technician position, had a number interview, but nobody would take the job. And I looked around the shop and I said, you don't have a lock on your bathroom. Your guys are washing their hands in a dirty slop sink. You've got nudie mags around the shop. I don't want to work there. Right? And it's those little details. They had all the other parts and pieces, but it's those little details that make the difference.
It sure does.
The other thing we could do is I go back to, I always had a philosophy that the educated customer is the best kind of customer to have. But we need to educate them, and I think the education needs to start back in we do Girl Scouts as well as Cub Scouts, and I always tell them your parents are welcome. I tell the leaders the parents are welcome. Please bring the parents, take them in. And we had the most fun time. We tried to see how many Girl Scouts we could stuff into. I have a Dodge Magnum wagon. It was so funny, so cute, because we wanted to show them all the lights that come on the dash when you start the car. Now, what do you think this one means? What do you think this one? Mm-hmm. And it was great. Just a little education. But it makes them interested in cars. Mm-hmm.
We have some great chatter going on in the right back, don't we? And Shari Pheasant just joined us. Yes, lifting the industry in consumer land will help us retain women who want a quality experience and will influence young millennials to come into our industry on all levels. So how do we work together as a group to lift the industry? And I had a thought while you were all talking, and here's my question. Is it the quality of the curriculum in high school tech, auto tech, or is it the fact that, and as Greg says, and I think we all know, Johnny's not too bright. Send him to auto mechanic school. Let him become a mechanic. And that's the paradigm shift.
It happens too often.
I think it's both. Auto shop programs across the country are being canceled. The one in my high school is gone. Most high schools don't have auto shop programs anymore. And the reason why they don't is because budgets were getting cut and nobody was fighting to keep them because it's considered unimportant, right? All of the trades, the skilled trades are considered unimportant. And it's this lingering stereotype that, it's not important and it's for the kids who aren't going to make it to college. And it's a horrible misnomer, and it's a huge disservice to both our kids and our society, and definitely our industry. How do we fix it? That's a huge question.
And it backs up to this one point. When I interviewed Dr. Clark from Alfred State College, a great 2-year and 4-year degree program on automotive technology, and I said, how come the independents aren't getting the grads, the seniors? And he said, because they're not coming to recruit. Mm-hmm. The dealers are coming because there's a paradigm that the dealers are great. Mom says, hey, I sent the kid to college. I spent 20-some grand, and he's going to work at a Buick dealership or a BM dealership, and the churn is so big in those places, and some of those techs aren't even staying in the industry. And we've heard this talk at seminars and panels on and on. Listen to this face-to-face with Pete Meyer. We were talking about training. The drill goes on and on. It's almost time, draw a line in the sand, and let's do more and more of this stuff and get these kinds of discussions that we're having in the hands of parents and guidance counselors and school boards. I don't think they quite realize that we're talking about rocket ship stuff here.
Uh-huh.
And so
it has to go back to, we need to rate our prices so that we can pay our technicians what they're really worth.
Mm-hmm.
And there's too many shops out there. All my competition, I don't know how they stay in business with what they're charging per hour.
Right. Or how their technicians live on what they're getting paid.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or when we give away too much stuff free, all it says is it's not worth anything. Well, here in Pennsylvania, we do safety inspection. To me, that is just so important. But I read every day, get it done for $5. Come on. If you really do an inspection, it takes an hour.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I know. Let's not talk price, right? Okay.
I think, we talk about what can we do as an industry, and obviously there's stuff that we can do, reaching out to trade schools, reaching out to guidance counselors, working with the Girl Scouts, like Judy mentioned, doing our car care classes in the shop. But I really, I think the personal is political. Who we are as shops, who we are in the industry, how we present ourselves out in the world when we're talking to non-automotive people as well as automotive people. How are we treating our technicians? What does our shop look like? How are we dressed? How are we speaking? All of those things. We are starting a movement, a revolution. Each of us that has a shop that holds themselves to a higher level, we're starting it. The change is happening. It unfortunately just doesn't happen as quickly as we'd all like it to. Right?
And one of those things is get to know your local, the U.S. senator and representative, as well as your state ones, and then invite them in. Invite them to come and see what you do every day, what you struggle with. Introduce yourself to your news people. Talk to them, say, hey, I'd really like you to come in and see what I really do. The next time you have a problem or you want to do a sniglet story, small story, come and do it at my shop. I'll be happy to do it. It helps so much.
Thanks, Judy. We have done such an interesting twist from what we originally started to talk about.
I thought about that.
But isn't it so...
Yeah,
it matches. It matches because what do we do to attract women? We be about more than just car repair.
Absolutely.
Right? When we show the world how awesome our industry is by taking part in charity events, by giving back to our community, by inviting people into our shop to educate them on what our industry does, then we're also showing women and men that we're stand up, that we're reputable, that we're trustworthy, and it makes them want to do business with us. So it's all the same thing.
It's all connected.
All connected.
So,
and there's a lot of young women who come to the car care clinic who say, how can I learn more? Where can I take a class at? And that's a problem. It's kind of like the only place you can take a class is if you're in high school and you go to shop class, or you go to the technical school and you're taking this year-long class.
Right.
Unfortunately, there's not a place where you can go and, take a class, 1 hour once a week or 2 hours once a week, something like that.
So
there would be a whole business for someone.
You need to have your clinics, 101, 102, 103, 104. You need to keep going on with that.
I'd love to, but there's just not enough time in the day.
We're busy running a business.
So here, the reason I said we went from an interesting subject over to where we are, and everyone believes they're interconnected. Here was my thought. Why don't we figure out in the industry how to have how they have the neighborhood watches and everybody goes out and does something on a certain day, if you will, Halloween. Why don't we have visit a guidance counselor day, a particular Thursday in May, that we rally the entire industry that says, I have made the call, I have the appointment, I'm going, here is my script. And here's my gut, my feel. I'm an industry veteran. I'm going out. We're spreading the word. We're going to be evangelicals. You think that idea could ever happen? Amy, you're connected.
We've tried it at the Women's Board. We've had committees getting people to go. I think the most success we had was I went down to Rhode Island and I spoke to a conference of guidance counselors. Instead of trying to have all these busy shop owners go to the guidance counselors, which they should anyways, because again, it's creating that relationship, but finding the connections to go to a room full of guidance counselors. You know, when I spoke to them, it was just the Rhode Island guidance counselors. How do we get to the national level?
Well, that's my point. I think we have to figure out. Bill Hamby is going to be our new president. I interviewed Bill. You're gonna, if you don't know Bill, you're gonna know Bill, and maybe we can pick up the phone and say, let's try this. Let's, there's so many different industry boards. There's so many different layers and levels. We could get Donnie and ASA. We can get Bill Hanvey. Bill Hanvey's, guy at AASA, Bill Long, and maybe we can actually have a national guidance counselor visit day.
Well, it would be cool because they were all, it opened their minds. They came up to me afterwards and said, I really thought it was for the kids who just couldn't read or write. And I'm like, no. We want the smart kids. We want the kids who understand computers in a car, who want to work on rockets.
Well,
I think it's a great idea.
The car's a rocket. It just doesn't go that fast.
It just doesn't go up. It goes straight on the road and zooms around.
Hey, we're about 50 some minutes into this incredible discussion. Thank you all so much. I'm going to give you each a last word. Okay.
Oh, geez.
And Judy,
Yes.
How do you want to sum this thing up?
I just wanted to say that I just love the industry, and I know that I'm here because I want to be here, and I think I was born to be here. I really love the industry, and yep, there's a lot of challenges out there, but we can do this. And I also think that we need to go to the biggest thing I see in this thing we were just discussing is we've got to get to the younger kids and to convince the parents that it is, and the guidance counselors, that it is good money making industry.
Thank you, Judy.
You're welcome.
Bogey.
I have to second that. I definitely never expected to be in this industry, but I'm right where I belong, and I'm just so passionate. I'm excited to see where this industry is going because I think there's a lot of great stuff happening, and everything that we can do as individuals to show the world who we are, to take ourselves seriously, to take ourselves to be professional and to take care of customers the way they deserve to be taken care of, to take care of our teams the way they deserve to be taken care of, and to have pride in who we are and what we do. I think will resolve all of our problems that we struggle with in this industry. Attracting new technicians, attracting women customers, relationship issues, trust issues, all of those things will be resolved when we really take ourselves seriously and show ourselves in a professional light all the time. And it's exciting. I think we're getting there and we're going in that direction. It's fun to watch. It's fun to be a part of.
Thank you, Bogey. Amy?
I think I would sum it up to catering to the female customer, catering to the female employee, catering to male customers, male employees. It all comes down to having great relationships, learning how to communicate with all these different people, offering convenience to your customers and your employees, educating your customers, and offering continual education to your employees makes it a whole win-win. That's always been my theme in life. Make it a win-win for everybody, and it moves it all forward. So if we take care of our customers, we take care of our employees, we work with the schools and have the women car care clinics, and if all the shops out there were doing it, it's going to move the whole industry forward. So the more we can do as industry, the more it'll come back to us.
How do you do that on the internet? How do you do that? Thumbs up?
Amen.
That's a pretty scary picture I'm putting up there, isn't it? Well, thank you to Amy Matnett, Bogey Latiner, Judy Zimmerman, and An incredible audience, a lot of great stuff coming out. And,
Totally.
When you watch the replay, you'll be able to see all of the great chatter that came up. And I sure appreciate that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's keep the conversation going on Twitter, guys. You guys are all on there already. We can keep this conversation going.
And just as a point, let me have a last word. Maybe there's something we all can do. I'm in control. I can have the last word. I'm the mad scientist with all the buttons.
You've got 3 women here. Did you really expect to get a word in edgewise?
No. Sit back and listen. Yes, ma'am. I can't remember which one of you told me that. Why not figure out how to get a questionnaire, a national questionnaire? Would you visit a guidance counselor on a national get out day? How many people are going to say no? The point of it is that if that survey goes out and there's, hundreds of people, thousands of people come back and say that, it could be the strength to actually try to make something like that happen with, say, 3 or 4 key national organizations that could really push this. Now,
I think that would be ASA. We got to talk to Donnie.
Yeah. It absolutely, it could be ASA because they represent the service provider.
They do.
And but it would be cool if we had that video, bring a tablet, here's the video, get online, here's the script. No, there shouldn't be a script because if it doesn't come from your heart, don't go. I just we can shag all that down and have a big corporate meeting and have a go-to-meeting and do all that stuff, or just do it.
Well, is everybody going out to Vision this year? Judy, are you going to Vision?
Haven't planned that far yet. I'll say it that way.
Are you going, Carm?
I'm going to be on a beach in an island.
How
I
dare
know.
you, Bob.
Well, I called Sherry Hamilton. I interviewed Shari Pheasant this week, so I keep goofing up Shari and Sherry. And I told Sherry Hamilton that I can't be there because I'm going to be away, but I am interviewing her next week. So we're going to do something on Vision.
Well, maybe we could start the conversation at Vision. There's going to be a lot of shop owners there.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Okay. Well, then we should work together. I'm going to put that in the back of my Rolodex, and we'll cycle it up and we'll talk about it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everyone. Have a great night. Thank you so much for your valuable time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
See you. Thanks.
Bye.